All right, fresh video from Trump. It looks like he did an interview with Maria Bartiromo this morning, and the headline is, "This is what Donald Trump reveals killed America." So let's go ahead and see what this dude had to say about that.
Plans and how they will impact the lives of American citizens.
So we're going to have more jobs than we've ever had. Look, we had that. Nobody ever had an economy pre-COVID, and then after COVID, we did a phenomenal job. We handed over a stock market. We would have had a depression. I believe if I wasn't president, a couple of people are saying this very strongly now, we would have had a depression like in 1929. That was a bad thing. COVID came in. Nobody knew what it was. Nobody knew how to handle it. We closed it down to China.
So is this true right here? Inflation up 19.2% under Biden-Harris administration. Okay, so we're talking about less than 4 years. Inflation has been up 19.2%. You can't sit here and put all the onus on a few folks. It's not just two people. It's obviously their administration or whatever. But the fact that it's up almost 20% in 3 years, so your dollar is worth 80 cents. Oh, that's not a lot of money. Well, let's go ahead and take that dollar and multiply it up to $1,000. Multiply it up to $10,000. And then apply that same percentage. It gets a little bit ridiculous. That's crazy if that is a legitimate stat right there.
China. Governors then made decisions whether they wanted to keep it. Actually, the Republican governors made the right decisions. The Democrat governors closed everything down. It was up to them. It wasn't up to the president.
But you focused on lower taxes and deregulation.
Right.
Tell us how that leads to job creation.
So yes, I cut taxes more than any other president in history, more so than Ronald Reagan. We had the biggest tax cut in history. All of a sudden, and we had business incentive cuts. And they hired people at levels that they've never hired before. As an example, Apple and other companies, they have big money, billions and billions of dollars offshore outside of this country.
Sorry to pause it again, right there. That is the corporate tax rate that got cut. So he's always talking about that, and the Democrats' talking point is about how that's not a good thing. What is a good thing? What isn't a good thing? Okay, so again, I'm just going off of what Fox News is popping up on the screen. They're saying Trump reduced the corporate tax rate from 35 to 21%. That is a significant amount. And from what it sounds like, it's he's saying, and what I understand is when you give tax breaks to the larger companies, it allows them to hire more people, therefore creating more jobs, therefore boosting the economy and putting more money out there into the economy. And again, I'm a layman, but that's kind of what I understand. It is more of a trickle down, but it's a little bit more than a trickle down. It isn't about, okay, let's give all the billionaires all the money and then they're not giving anybody else the money. That's the bullshit side of it. The realistic side of it, that what you would hope to happen is you help companies get larger by giving them a tax break. And by them getting larger and not having to pay so much money into taxes, they're able to spend that money into growing in different areas, therefore hiring more people, etc. So
you couldn't bring it back. There was no mechanism to bring it back. And then the tax was too high. They had to pay like 50% tax. Who's going to do that? And I made it so that they could bring the money back. I made it much simpler, and I also reduced the tax. And the billions of dollars came pouring back into our country, and they were spending the money. So here's what we're doing.
Okay.
We're going to get the first thing, we're going to get energy way down. Drill, baby, drill. Right? We're going to get energy way down. That's going to lead to...
Here's another stat. Energy up 32.8% under... Energy up... explain to me what that percentage is. Now, I will say this. Again, this is a non-partisan opinion. If everything that he says is true regarding energy, regarding oil, regarding gas, natural gas, and all that good stuff, the way that we were producing and actually had a net positive based on exports, if that is true, then there is absolutely no excuse why somebody would have come in after his presidency and revert all those policies. If we have the natural resources here at home, and he keeps saying drill, baby, drill, there is absolutely no reason why the United States of America is not one of the top leaders in exports when it comes to this stuff. Other than folks that want to keep putting in policies that are I'm not going to say, well, maybe it is because of the Green New Deal and things like that. I don't know. And again, from what I'm taking, that may be it. That may be the reason why they rejected all the shit. And we know that when Biden came in, they just cut off a lot of Trump's policies just because it was Trump. We all knew that happened.
To the inflation. What's killed this country more than anything in the last 3.5 years is inflation inflicted upon this country by Sleepy Joe Biden.
And let me go ahead and say, I'll quit pausing after this. Let me go ahead and tell you, as somebody that knows a little bit about the natural gas environment, I'm not going to say why, but it may or may not because of investments or watching how investments go and watching how the market as a whole goes. The natural gas market has absolutely tanked since Biden has been in office. And when I say tanked, I'm talking about 95% tanked. So he is absolutely, and again, it's not Joe Biden. I don't blame everything on Joe Biden. It's the administration as a whole has absolutely tanked whatever had the natural gas markets propped up. Absolutely, 100%. I can show you that on a chart if you don't believe me. Trust me on that one.
The inflation has been a disaster in this country, and it's killed the middle class. It's killing the working class, and we're going to get inflation brought down. We have to bring prices down.
How do you do that? How do you get inflation down?
If we bring energy down, other things are going to follow.
So how many jobs do you think can be created by unlocking the energy capacity in America?
Numbers that you haven't seen before, numbers that we've never seen.
What,
We were
millions?
doing it. Millions of jobs.
Jesus.
That's what we need. We need millions of jobs.
Unemployment rises to 4.3%.
And we need people to come into our country, too, by the way. I don't want to say we're going to close the border, but we're going to have people come in, but it's going to be people that we should have.
In a post on Truth Social, you said that seniors should not pay tax on Social Security. And, of course, this made big news, but the Committee for a Responsible Budget says that will mean increasing deficits by $1.6 to $1.8 trillion.
Because we can cut other costs. There's so much waste in our government.
So that's what I want to ask. Where do you get the revenue to offset that? Because it's also apparently going to advance the insolvency date of Social Security's retirement trust fund by over a year.
Well, one of the things good about that is that's when people will make a deal. You know that. But we're going to take care of Social Security. We're not going to do anything to hurt our seniors. There is so much cutting. There is so much waste in this government. There's so much fat in this government. I also have no tax on tips. That's a big deal.
Are you going to make that an official line item in your economic plans?
Yes.
No tax on tips?
No tax on tips. Very simple. No tax.
What about the debt? I mean, with no taxes on Social Security, no taxes on tips. I mean, when does $35 trillion in debt become an emergency?
We are going to,
it is an emergency.
At a point, we were doing so well prior to COVID, just prior to COVID. We were going to start reducing debt, and we're going to start reducing taxes still further. I gave the biggest tax cut ever,
guys,
bigger than the Reagan.
So look, it's Fox News. They obviously have a pro-conservative, pro-Trump agenda. I ain't even going to say pro-Trump because some people in Fox News in the past have not been pro-Trump. They do have a pro-conservative agenda, obviously. So the numbers that are popping up at the bottom of the screen, I don't know if they're facts. I don't know where they're getting these numbers from. It says inflation up 19.2%. Debt is at $35.1 trillion. Obviously, we all know. Everybody can look and see what the debt is. 10 million plus migrants entered U.S. illegally. Okay, that's an impossible number to know if you came in illegally. They're estimating. They're like, okay, we catch X amount. Let's go ahead and multiply that by X, and this is what the estimate is. So... But, again, disclaimer, I'm watching a Fox News video, so those numbers may or may not be, whatever they are. I don't know their sources, basically, is what I'm saying.
Tax cuts, but you know what happened? It was very interesting. We took in more revenue with a smaller percentage of taxes than we did with a big percentage of taxes. And nobody understood it. I did. Some people did. But few people understood it. But when we cut taxes, we took in much more money. The country made more money. And we were getting ready.
What are the numbers,
getting ready to pay off debt.
Don't just say it.
Please explain to us how your economic policies that will impact the lives of American citizens differs from Kamala Harris's economic policies.
I don't have enough time. You'd have to give me like the entire day. We're going to, number one, base it very strongly on energy. We have more energy. We have more liquid gold, as I call it, under our feet than Saudi Arabia, than Russia, than anybody. We're going to be energy dominant. We're going to make a fortune. We're going to supply it all over Europe, all over the world. We're going to be double and triple what they're doing. We're going to have tremendous energy, and we're going to lower our prices of energy. Do you know, people in New England, they pay some of the highest prices in the world because we don't have a pipeline, because New York won't let a pipeline go through a very poor section of New York where they need the jobs. Number one. Number two, we're going to do a tariff system. We're going to bring back our auto jobs. We're going to say to people, we don't want your cars. We're going to tariff those products, and we're going to have reciprocal tariffs. We're going to take in a fortune, but we're going to tariff.
He was big on tariffs. He was big on tariffs. That is a fact. Now, whether or not all the stories he talked about from the leaders calling him and, calling him and saying what kind of deal we can make, that's something that obviously I don't have any info on, or a lot of people don't. But it is a fact that he was big on tariffs when he was in office.
Tariff those jobs. We want them to build auto plants in the United States. So right now, some of the biggest plants in the world for automobiles are being built, you know where? In Mexico.
Of course.
Right on the border. And they're going to make cars and sell them into the United States. And those people in Michigan that love me and that I love and that are going to give us a victory, because their auto industry won't exist in 2 years if she gets elected. China's going to make, and other countries are going to make all the cars. They're building some of the biggest auto plants. A friend of mine does that business. I said, I want to see a great auto plant. He says, you'll have to come to Mexico. Why? Because we're not building the big ones in the United States.
And you will build them here.
The biggest in the world, and we're going to have all of our people operating. And we're not going to let people come to build them in Mexico and build cars and sell them in the United States.
Won't it be more expensive?
And close up Michigan and South Carolina and other places.
Won't it be more expensive if you're doing it here?
No, it won't be. It'll be great. It'll be unbelievable. And by the way, when you add it all up, including the taxes and everything else, we're going to create jobs like you've never created before. If you look at auto manufacturing, it's down 64% from its high, number of jobs and everything else. But we used to be the world manufacturer, and every year it gets eaten away. And a big factor is Mexico. Mexico stole 32% of our auto manufacturing.
Why do you?
We're going to say, you want to do that? We're putting tariffs.
Why do you think so many call centers are in India? Do you think it's because the United States cares about people in India? No. Do you think it's about all these companies that are in the United States cares about India? No. It's because it's cheap labor. They do the same job as I would have to pay some kid off the street $20, $25 an hour to answer phone calls at a help desk, versus paying some person in India. Again, I don't even know what their rates are, but I promise you it's at least 50% less than what you would pay somebody here to do. So it's cheap labor. And what's a joke is other countries don't care. They probably brag about building this stuff over there. Like, yeah, we'll give them some cheap labor. Why? Because the workers have zero say in these countries. What are the workers going to say? They don't care. They're just there to do a job. So, at the end of the day, let's go ahead and call it what it is. Call a spade a spade. It's cheap labor.
On your cars come.
And first of all, this isn't just America. I keep pausing, but this is not just America. So don't even get that shit twisted. This is a lot more countries than just America. I promise you that. It ain't just us that's sitting here like, oh, let's outsource all our shit. I promise you that.
Coming in, you take those brilliant people that own these factories, they got to build in the United States, and they have to hire U.S. workers, and whether it's union or non-union. Look, the United Auto Workers, I know them very well. They vote for me. They have a stupid person leading them, but they vote for me. They're going to love Donald Trump more than ever before. We're going to create in that area, the most traditional area, we're going to have more auto jobs than we've ever had. We're bringing back the automobile industry. And we're going to do that with tariffs. We're going to do that by saying we're not going to accept. I put the tariffs on Chinese cars. You know that. Now, Biden wants to take the tariffs off of Chinese cars. He wants to just tax the electric car. That's not good enough. So we're going to have more auto production in the United States than we've ever had before, and it's going to happen very fast.
So this will be the first 100 days?
I'll get that done in less than 100 days. I'll get that done in the first 2 weeks.
Oh, fuck out of here. Dude just
My
says
thanks to President Donald Trump. Stay with us
He
for
just
more
fucking
from
says
President
it.
Trump coming up. But first,
I went on Brian.
Bro, okay. He just said, again, dude, it's Trump. That's what he does. But did you notice how quickly he answered that question? That is somebody that he'll say something. He understands the value of answering a question, whether it be moving to something else, bringing up a different topic, just dropping an answer and then waiting for... Dude, because what if he doesn't get it done in 2 weeks? Then there'll be a reason. Or maybe he will and it'll be like, yo, I called it. So the answer to the question, Donald Trump reveals what killed America, the answer is inflation. And if those numbers are right, that we're at the bottom of that screen, 19.2%. If you don't think that losing 19 cents on every dollar for everything that you purchased in the last 3 years, and the money that you've been chunking in your 401k is worth 20 cents less for every dollar, is not making a big difference, then you might need to reevaluate. Now, again, it's not like Donald Trump's going to come into office and automatically wave a magic wand and everything's going to disappear. But all we can do is look at stats and be like, hey, man, this is what it is. So that's the video, guys. Take it for what it is. If you enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe and let me know in the comments if you want to hear me bring up more of these videos, more opinion videos, and, hopefully learn more. And go from there, and not just Fox News, but other channels as well. It's not just about one side of the spectrum and staying inside of a bubble. Take care.